The Trump White House called themselves the anti-war ticket so cynically, using the Biden administration's support for genocide in their favor. I mean, look, it's a political campaign, but their willingness to lie on the campaign trail to achieve power is historic and almost unprecedented, and it's the fault of the Democrats for being unable to call it out because it's such a brazen lie.
I don't mean to contradict you, but this is why the Democrats can't be a pro-war party, because the Republicans do run on this. Richard Nixon ran on a secret plan to end the Vietnam War, and then won the '68 election based on that. I would, it would be nice if the Democrats, learned from that. While
collaborating with opposition forces to continue the war.
Yep.
So, which is very, very eerily similar to the Trump administration having meetings with Netanyahu as Netanyahu was, dog walking Biden all over the place.
Yeah, and then getting into the Republicans getting into power and then expanding the war into different neighbors. Like, let's fire a missile at Iran.
And now Iran will come into this story. Don't you worry. The ever-present boogeyman for the neocons. Even though we are in the Western Hemisphere and Trump sees himself as some sort of, late 19th century leader that wants to engage in conquest within our backyard. And
Teddy Roosevelt or something.
Yeah. But even we've done this via covert actions for the last 100 years or so. This is Trump just being expressly open about it and being a brute, which is one of his defining qualities. So since September, just a reminder, we've launched dozens of strikes on boats that the administration claims are drug runners and have provided zero evidence for that. We've killed over 80 people off the coast of Venezuela. We have now 15,000 troops in the region. This is the largest troop buildup in that area in the 21st century. We flew fighter jets into Venezuelan airspace the other day. And yesterday, the U.S. seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. This tanker had previously been the subject of U.S. sanctions. It was under another name because the U.S. claimed it was shipping oil to Iran, which, if that's the case, Venezuela has the right to sell its oil to whoever they want, but not under the sanctions regime, where we decide and we freeze their assets and we use the leverage of the United States to make it very difficult for Venezuela to have state control over their resources here and trade with who they want. So because of this,
And if destroying their oil industry leads to a bunch of people having to leave their country, and then the right wing can use that to use anti-immigrant sentiment to get into power, then that's just an extra little side benefit.
It's a self-licking ice cream cone, to use a phrase that Sam likes to deploy. But here's the president, Donald Trump, asked by a reporter yesterday about his taking of this oil tanker.
It's unfortunate what happened. I mean, I know exactly what happened. It got it started a little bit, but we'll see if we can put it out.
We're interested in the seizure of this tanker. Well, what happens to the oil on that ship?
Well, we keep it, I guess.
Where does it go? What port does it go to?
Well, you have to follow the tanker. You're a good newsman. Just follow the tanker.
Do you know where it's going?
Follow it. Get a helicopter and follow the tanker.
Is it sure it's going to?
But I assume we're going to keep the oil.
All right, just keep the oil. Just keep the oil.
He's not even awake.
It's good for the history books, though, just how clear this is going to be.
That is, again, we've talked about this. The benefit of Trump being such a dumbass is that he says all of the quiet things out loud. Remember when he maybe accidentally revealed that the death toll in Gaza was hundreds of thousands?
Yeah.
By saying that count?
Or him just saying, we need to keep Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan so we can keep an eye on the Chinese.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you. These are the behind-the-scenes conversations that aren't this is about American freedom, baby.
Yeah, that's the stuff an author like Stephen Kinzer would have to go into the paragraphs, reading between the lines.
Yes, exactly. And just a reminder, when Trump was engaging in his racist screed against Somali Americans and Somalis the other day, he said, quote, "The only thing they're good for is going after ships." Less than a month ago, Iran sees this tanker, this Marshall Islands flag tanker, so it has a relationship with the U.S., and they did so in Gulf waters. And this is what the U.S. Central Command's press release in November said about such an action. Just scroll down. I think it's like the third paragraph here. Yes, Iran's use of military forces to conduct an armed boarding and seizure of a commercial vessel in international waters constitutes a blatant violation of international law, undermining freedom of navigation and the free flow of commerce. We call on Iran to articulate to the international community the legal basis for its actions. This is the United States saying that.
International law? Who's citing international law all of a sudden? The thing that we just openly say we're not subject to that?
The Trump administration won't... Biden doesn't follow international law.
No,
but the Trump administration, no president does. The Trump administration doesn't even follow U.S. law.
Right.
I mean, just to remind people, like the legal basis for these attacks on these boats and this escalation with Venezuela, it's so illegal. It's so unbelievably illegal. Congress has the power to declare war. They have not done so with Venezuela. The Trump administration is trying to use the 2001 and 2002 authorizations for the use of military force, which need to be repealed because they are so immensely broad. It basically gave the executive branch and the Bush administration the ability to kill people, anybody they deemed as terrorists, within the scope of responding to 9/11, and then, of course, what ended up being our illegal invasion of Iraq. The idea that the administration can claim that these attacks on these boats and our escalation with Venezuela is somehow covered under the authorizations for the use of military force that were in response to 9/11 is so laughable on its face. That's why they're trying to bring Iran into the conversation, because they are stretching the truth so broadly that they need to find a Middle Eastern boogeyman to justify their attempts to provoke Venezuela into responding. And by the way, we've talked about this with Iran. Iran and Venezuela, their restraint is what's keeping us from these horrific, horrific wars. Like the fact that Iran didn't respond more robustly to the United States bombing them earlier this year is part of why we're in this situation. We are the bully. We're the belligerent actor here. We're the ones causing unrest across the globe. And we're not even touching on the genocide that we're funding. I mean, all this stuff about drugs or Iran and terrorists, those are just the buzzwords that the people who want to unholster their guns know they need to activate in order to unholster them. Yep.
So whatever they need. And honestly, it's a type of, such a great lie that it should lead to a type of almost like revolutionary anger. The way that these people cite like the tens of thousands of opioid and stuff deaths that have done because we have not addressed that as a public health crisis. But instead like something that needs, again, to send cowboys across the world to protect people. We've let off the billionaires who were like the Sacklers and stuff.
Should we execute the Sacklers in the town square, or is it because if they're wealthy and donate to museums in New York City, that doesn't mean that they deserve summary execution?
They're not tied to anything that we want to overthrow or control, so it's not relevant. And so that's the thing, is they don't care about protecting women's sports. They don't care about your uncle that died from a drug overdose. They don't give a fuck about it, except as a warrant for them to unholster their guns and point at who they already wanted to point at.
And a good example of this is Maria Corina Machado. She is the latest figurehead that the United States is trying to push to be the leader of Venezuela. She's been a longtime supporter of violent regime change in Venezuela. She supported these far-right protests in 2014 that left many people dead. She has advocated for United States sanctions on her own people, immiserating them. She wrote to Netanyahu a few years ago asking for help overthrowing Maduro. And she's just been in the pocket of U.S. NGOs and hawks like Marco Rubio for years and years. So she's been forced into hiding because there's an arrest warrant out for her in Venezuela. She, according to some reports, seemingly with the help of the United States, jetted off to Norway to see my homeland here and accept her Nobel Peace Prize award And as she supports basically military action against her own population. So for peace,
an invasion to empower herself.
This is what she had to say in Norway just a few hours ago.
Hello, David Rasmus on Swedish radio. Yesterday, the US seized a ship outside the coast of Venezuela. Would you welcome a US military intervention in Venezuela?
Look, some people talk about invasion in Venezuela, the threat of an invasion in Venezuela, and I answered, Venezuela has been already invaded. We have the Russian agents, we have the Iranian agents, we have terrorist groups such as Hezbollah, Hamas, operating freely in accordance with the regime.
Just
F the Nobel Prize forever, man.
I know.
Really forever.
It's done. It's done. I mean, well, it should have been done when we gave it to Kissinger.
Or Obama.
Or Obama, even. But it just...
What a joke.
What a joke. Yeah. I mean, Hezbollah. It's Hezbollah. It just...
Hamas is even crazier.
Right. And
everyone getting along there.
Hezbollah has left, they have some internationality to them whatsoever.
Yeah, right. It's just like...
Hamas has a tunnel that goes all the way over.
Hamas has a tunnel to Venezuela from Gaza. But it's just like... I mean, how transparent do you have to be? Just, I'm going to hit every one of them. I'm going to hit every one of them. It's like when we're in a conversation with somebody and you know they're sucking up to you.
Yeah, are you sure, Ms. Machado, are you sure North Korea isn't in there too?
Right. But don't worry, folks. We have the Democrats, the leader of the Democrats in the Senate. He's going to stand up against this incredibly illegal, obvious, insane move by the Trump administration trying to impose regime change in Venezuela, start a war with Venezuela. Chuck Schumer is on it. He's on it, folks. He is going to draw a distinction. You know, when he was really mad at Trump for doing a side deal with Iran? No side deals.
Diplomacy to go against shooting missiles.
No diplomacy. We want more escalation with Iran was his message. In response to what the Trump administration back
supposedly,
in June.
Yeah, not wanting to talk to Iran instead of sending missiles at him.
Yeah. Here he is. This is when Jake Tapper asked him expressly, do you support regime change? Chuck is gonna draw a distinction between the Democrats and Trump.
Do you disagree with President Trump's ultimate goal of regime change in Venezuela?
Look, the bottom line is President Trump throws out so many different things in so many different ways. You don't even know what the heck he's talking about. You know,
can you pause it? You know, it's your job to tell the American public what he's doing and what he's talking about. Yeah. Not to say our political opponent, I can't even define what is bad about what he wants to do. It's just the fact that he does a bunch of different things. Are you joking?
There's any staffers listening to this, print this phrase out. Republicans think you're lazy, Democrats think you're stupid. And make sure your boss doesn't play into the latter thing, because they always do. They think we can follow what Trump's doing. He's murdering people in the Caribbean to try to provoke a war, you idiot.
It's insane.
How infantile.
But isn't that? But it's like the Iran thing. No, no side deals. He does this. He does just stand in opposition to this aggression. Okay, we'll keep going.
This is Chuck Schumer, who was against the Iran deal.
Yeah.
Throws out so many different things in so many different ways. You don't even know what the heck he's talking about. You know, obviously, if Maduro would just flee on his own, everyone would like that. But we don't know what the heck he's up to when he talks about that. So it's very, very, you cannot say, I endorse this, I endorse that, when Trump is all over the lot, not very specific, and very worrisome at how far he might escalate.
All over the lot was the same phrase he used in that video I talked about. The problem with Trump is not the substance of his actions, it's that he's confusing Chuck. What more do I need to say?
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.